All right, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome to the Freedom Family Call. I'm super excited to have you guys here tonight to talk to you about vision and mission. But I want to start something new that we're going to be doing at the beginning of our calls based on, for those of you that don't know, I have been working with Brad Bijak I started Appreciation Academy back in May with him, and then he's been coaching me one-on-one. We've had 2 calls in an emergency session. And something that he has done that is so true is really helping me focus on the art of celebration. So at the beginning of every call, I want you to utilize the chat, and I want you to write something that's a win in your business or your personal journey this week. And I don't want anyone to say I don't have one. So right now we have 14 people on here, and that means I need to see 14 wins, and I want to say them out loud, and I want to celebrate them, because a lot of what you guys shared today when I asked you before the call was, what are some things that hold you back? And I'm so grateful for you guys having the courage to share your fears out loud, because that is huge. And one of the greatest antidotes to fear or inoculating them is to win, to celebrate your wins, to high five things. So I'm super excited. I want to shout out Angela. She hit Emerald rank this week, which is super exciting. We had Allison hit Emerald rank last week, and I don't remember if I said that last week, so I want to make sure I throw that in. We have growth happening, you guys. I love these. I love these. Rebecca's having one-on-one calls with her clients each week. Sonia used the walk-in workstation at work today, and she's been consistent. Oh, now it's flipping and I can't read. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm making all the calls. Yay! Megan checked with all of her challengers and heard back from a challenger she hasn't heard from in like 7 months. Tasha went grocery shopping. Aisha's on the call. Rebecca finished number 18 of 100 morning meltdown. Y'all, yes. Okay, now I feel like I'm channeling my inner Brad. He would be like, yeah! I should send him this video. He'd be like, way to go, Kelly, good job. Sarah, getting in her steps most days and getting on the call with Megan next week to get back into the work in the business. Sarah, 18 workouts. I don't know who ESCHU. Dedicated her time to the business yesterday, following up my challengers and coaches. Yay. Sarah worked out 3 days, even after night shift. Awesome. And she's on the call. Allison tried new Shakeology. Girl, Greenberry. I've never tried it, and I've been a coach for 6 years. What is wrong with me? Because it's green. Is it good? Sarah likes it, right? Yeah, I think Emily Stuckey likes it too. I'm going to have to try it. Y'all, did I miss anybody? Tasha, Aisha's on the call. I'm so excited you guys are here. If I missed you, I didn't mean to. It's good with almond butter. Good to know. And y'all, I'm really excited. My second business center advanced to Ruby today, which is the first time I've rank advanced in 3 years. And that's kind of exciting. So I'm going to just But I am here tonight, y'all. What's really funny is originally this night we had the call set up. So if you looked at the schedule, Danielle was going to speak, but then she got called away to work. So we flip-flopped. I'm doing tonight. Danielle is going to speak on our call the last Sunday of the month, or Thursday. It's not Sunday. And I was thinking, okay, so I'm going to talk about vision and mission. And go figure, I woke up this morning and was having not a vision and mission day. Let's just put it that way. I got up this morning, was kind of feeling a little groggy. I tried to get all the kids to church. The kids were being all crazy in the car. I lost it with the kids. I lost it on the way to church. I lost it on the way home to church. I got in the house. I was losing it. And then with coaching with Brad Bijak, he offers emergency calls, and Sarah's like, you should call him. I'm like, I don't want to call him, but it's so I did. And I got on the phone with him, and, we talked through, he gave me some awesome strategies to help. And then I asked you guys, what are your fears after that? Because what I realized was the reason I had a crappy day is because I needed to speak on this call. The reason that you're on this team is because you need to be on this call. Not because I'm some famous PD guru, but because I'm a broken person striving for healing. And that's what qualifies me to be a coach, because I'm here to help you have a better life and pray with you and for you and guide you as best I can through my brokenness and not my woundedness, in a sense of I'm going to come on here and use this as therapy, but more from the lessons that I've learned. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight and give you some tips. So if you have paper, get it out, because I do have a few things for you to write down. I did take some notes. I sat in a coffee shop for a while my son had soccer. I pulled out this book, you guys. If you've never read this book, Unqualified by Stephen Furtick, I read this a few years ago. It's great on Audible because he reads his own books, and he's a great speaker. You can also go to the Elevation Church podcast, and he did a series of sermons on the book. So if you don't want to read the book, you could listen to those. But I loved the book. And when I was sitting here tonight and you guys were sharing your fears and I was preparing for the night, I was thinking, what do I have to give you? Because I'm not here just to like tickle your ears. And I'm not here also though to like, I'm not a locker room coach person who like yells. I'm more like a Care Bear that blows sunshine and sometimes in a really forceful way, you know, but I want to help you. And so tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what a mission and a vision is, the difference of them and how they work together, a little bit about mine, because if you don't know it, I want you to, because you're a part of it. And then tips on helping you figure yours out and then inoculate the way it gets attacked, because it's a powerful thing. So on the back of this book, what he says in Unqualified is, don't let your contradictions keep you from your calling. If I based my leadership qualities on how I parented today, I should not be on this call. If I based my coaching qualities on the way I felt sometimes about my body, I shouldn't be in a challenge group. If I based my ability to invite people on how well I track in my 2B notebook every single day, I should not be inviting people, because I'm inviting them into perfection that they're not called, because I can't even do it myself. And some of y'all might think, well, okay, so what does that mean? What it means is like, I'm not inviting them into a relationship where they never can think they're enough. And if I'm holding myself to a standard that I have to be perfect as a mom and perfect as a wife and perfect with my food and perfect with my workouts and always look in the mirror and think everything is perfect, then, I'm going to shatter under that pressure. And our fears, what our fears do so many times, y'all, it is, I wrote this down today, we focus on our fear as evidence that there's some hidden dark secret about us. And if the world knew, they would all run. Anyone ever feel that way? I do. Like, there have been times that I'm like, oh my gosh, if anyone in my team was in my house right now and heard the way I just talked to my 13-year-old, they would never, ever be around. Or, oh my gosh, if anyone knew that, that if anyone, that's what fear does. And the reason it does it is not because it's true, but it's rather, look at fear as a pain point that you have that provides an opportunity for healing and growth. Fear is the little kid in you that's freaking out because you want to change the habit and not allow yourself to throw the temper tantrum. Fear is the person in you now that knows you don't have to settle and you don't know what that looks like yet, but you're stepping out in faith to figure it out, find it out, and live it. Fear gets diminished when we grow our faith. There's that quote, if you want to starve your fear and feed your faith. And it's so true. So when you guys were sharing with me, like someone shared that they had a fear of being disingenuous when they're inviting people to be in a challenge group because they didn't want to just use people or people to think they were like using them. That's awesome. That means that you're actually going to invite people because you love them and want to help them. So instead of thinking, gosh, because I have this fear, I shouldn't talk to anyone, think, I am so thankful that I'm really being considerate of others so that when I talk to them, I really want to serve them well. Or if you're thinking, like, Emily, I'm going to call you out a little bit here because you said, like, what if I'm the one person that this doesn't work for? I have had that in my head for the last year. What if I'm the one person? What if I'm the one person? Because I've had friends that have, rank advanced past me or grown in different ways or this and that. I've had that in my head. And that's when I had to start digging into the Appreciation Academy stuff, because the flip of it is, what if I'm the one person to help that person who has this fear learn that that's BS? Like I had to, you know what I'm saying? And that like fires me up, like, because when you face your fear, it's not so much like they're going to go away. It's more just like having gratitude towards them and letting them help you find your mission. And your mission's not to fix yourself or fix someone else. It's to like grow enough that you provide a path for people to walk behind you. And then you're kind of guiding them and helping them along the way as you're like cutting down the you know, if you're going into a jungle, there's this analogy that someone has to be in the front with a flashlight and someone has to have the machete to like knock the bamboo or whatever out of the way. And that person's like forging the path, and they're not 100% what's ahead of them, but they know enough to know how to navigate the jungle and the forest, and the people behind them are following behind them in trust. And they're like speaking words over those people, like, we're going to do this, we're going to make it. And then that person's going to speak to the person behind them, because not everyone in line is going to hear the leader. And that's where your leadership matters. And so the beauty of this is that if you're stuck in this business with fear of inviting and fear of, but I'm not consistent with my workouts, or I've fallen off in my journey, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. A lot of times, like today, I learned when I had my emergency call with Brad, I had to write down all of the things in my head, and they were all about me. And what I love about this business is not about us at all. And so what I love about this business is it takes an opportunity for your growth and what this business has done for you, and to create that as an opportunity for someone else to have freedom. And so when you have a mission that you have established for your business, and you have a vision of where you want to go, your fear no longer is the loud voice anymore, because you can take that mission and use your fears as a way to refine your mission. If you're having these fears and insecurities, well, where are they coming from? Is it because someone said something to me? Okay, is it a toxic relationship, or is there validity there, and how can I grow? And so tonight, what I want to talk to you about is like, what's the difference? A mission is definition. I looked it up on, not Wikipedia, it's like Wiki Dictionary. Just super weird. Anyway, a mission defines what an organization is, why it exists, and its reason for being, its objective, its approach to reach its objective. So Beachbody's mission is to help people live healthy and fulfilling lives. It's to end the trend of obesity and to help people live healthy and fulfilling lives. And so you'll see everything they do is they come up with products and tools and things to help people, which is why our reach is expanding more and more with nutrition and supplements and exercise. And it's not just Shakeology. It's so many things, right? And what I love is that when you said yes, some part of you wanted to have health or some type of fulfillment in your life. Something was missing when you said yes. And so it's their vision, their mission is broad enough that we can insert ourselves into it, but it's clear enough that we know what they're about. So when I did my first challenge group, it was a 90-day challenge group. I got the Les Mills Combat Program, which is like the bomb. I still love it. I miss stand and reach, and I should pull my boxing gloves out on the Fight Club days for Morning Meltdown, because I miss those gloves. They made me feel like a total, you know what. But anyway, at the end of that 90-day challenge, I remember I felt comfortable in my skin for the first time in my entire life. I remember like getting excited when I got dressed. I remember Courtney would compliment me and I'm like, yeah, I actually believe a little bit of this, instead of like, oh my gosh. I remember having energy with my kids that I didn't have, and not trying to avoid them all the time. And all I knew after that challenge was that I wanted to help another mom feel that way. That was my mission. I wanted to help another mom find comfort in her skin. That's where it started, because that's what I had, and I wanted to gift it forward. And that's what I focused on at first. Did I invite perfectly? No. Did I screw up? Yes. Did I get blocked by people sometimes? Yes. Did I post stuff on social media the wrong way? Yes. Did I get made fun of by friends? Some of my closest ones. I did. But I knew the truth of what I had experienced. And even though I got knocked down, I didn't feel right walking away. I had to get back up and try again. But it wasn't this huge mission that you might think you need to start. It was simple. This is what happened to me. This is what I experienced. And this is what I want to give. And that is why the exercise Megan talks about last week, of where you were before and now, you have to do that exercise. If you did not do it yet, do it tonight. Before and now has a gap, and the gap is gratitude. And when you have gratitude of recognizing where you were and where you are now, that's where your mission is born. I believe that you find what you want to give others when you have so much gratitude for what was given to you. And when you have that gift, like it's a gift that you want to give, then when you have a fear of inviting someone, you think, well, maybe I need to learn how to ask good questions so I make sure I'm serving them well. And instead of looking at fear as holding you back from doing the business, you look at it as a way that's like, well, how can I ensure that I don't do that? Because this is my mission. And you can tell people your mission. And that is something to be excited about, y'all. The mission of our team is to embrace freedom, to share truth, and to inspire hope. And that came about when I was talking through a friend who did the graphics for me a while back. And I was sharing with her what we were doing and we were excited. And at the time, I think I might have had 6 coaches on my team. I wasn't a diamond coach yet, I don't believe. Maybe I was. It was very early on, but I was excited. And I remember after the meeting with my friend Meg, who did all my graphics, she's like, maybe I want to be a coach. And she didn't become a coach, but she was so excited about what I was saying to her. And I was just talking about what we did. And she actually said, she can't help me come up with my tagline, because that's when my mission expanded beyond just me helping people. Because now I had a team and I could share this mission of we embrace freedom by living out the calling that we have of taking care of our bodies and healing and constantly growing. It's not a one and done. And then we share that truth in our challenge groups. We share it on social media. We share it at church. We share it at school. Not because you walk around with a Shakeology t-shirt on all the time, although that's not a bad idea. You walk around with a genuine smile, as Brad would say. You walk around and you look different, you feel different, you act different, and people notice and they want to know what is going on with that girl. That's how you share truth. And then you inspire hope by asking someone, have you ever thought about doing it too? Because I can believe in you for yourself until you can learn to believe in yourself. Like, you offer that gift. And so the mission of my business came through time, but it first had to start with me having gratitude for what had changed. The second part is your vision, which is where you're going. And this took me a longer time to come to grasp with. And it happened about 3 years in my business. I was sitting at a retreat. Actually, it was 4 years in my business. I was sitting at a retreat that I'd gone to, and Summer had asked in a group of people, you know, if you knew you couldn't fail, like, what would you be? And then I decided I would want to just be a peaceful wife and mom. And that was kind of my personal vision for myself. And when I started to like try to run every decision I made through that lens, within about a year, something shifted in me and I started to want to have more of a vision for my business, because I started to see more about my vision for myself. I sat on a call. I actually hopped on she had a group back then for coaches, and I hopped on the webinar, and no one showed that day but she and Kimberly Wilcox. So it turned out to just be the 3 of us. And Summer was like, oh, it's funny. You were saying you wanted a one-on-one call. Now you got it. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready. And she said, where do you want to go with your team? And she's like, what's your vision? And I was like, well, I have a vision for myself, but I don't have one for my team. I'm afraid of having one for my team. I don't know. And that's when I started to talk about, like, what do I want? Well, I want to help as many women as I can build a business from home. I want to help them be able to, like, help if their son has therapy needs to pay for them, or say, honey, I got it. If they're all of a sudden, you know, the bank account goes red and you can fill it in, or help their kids see their mom do something passionate and also still have time for them instead of having to leave the house. And I started to think about all that the business had done for me. And it started to make me think, how could this ripple in the long run? And this part is scary because your vision is bigger than you and you have very little control over it. It's intimidating and scary, but it's important because it gives more hope, because it also leans more on God. There were some quotes that I had shared in the group today, and then Sarah actually posted a really powerful quote. Could you type it in, Sarah, the one you posted on your post, the one about from Tozer today about it's a shame that I
was like, you're going to have to help me out. I'm so brilliant all the time that you're going to have to narrow the focus. No, yeah, I'll get it. Okay. It was from the Maxwell devotional.
Yeah. So there's a quote that she's going to type in the chat that she wrote today on one of her posts. And it says, but still type it because people might want to write it down. God is looking for people through whom he can do the impossible. What a pity that we plan only the things we can do by ourselves. That's what your vision has to be. My vision of being a peaceful wife and mom at that retreat seemed impossible. I was super anxious all the time. No one knew that because I didn't like go on Facebook and go off about how anxious I was, but I struggled a lot with anxiety, postpartum anxiety, and then just fear, tons of it. And so I started to work on that, even though I didn't know what it would look like. That's what I wanted. And so for our team, some of you guys were at Summit 2 years back. Tracy Morrow had a training, and it was in this like big theater, and we all got on stage afterwards for a group photo for Team Courage. And as we were standing on the stage, I got teary because my vision of our team is a stage with families. I want moms and dads and tons of kids and balloons and streamers and now confetti and bubbles. And there are people hugging each other, and the kids are running around, and they're all in blue, different shades of blue, because not everything has to match all the time. And there's just this genuine sense of like complete freedom in their family. Nothing's perfect. It's not like Instagram filtered. It's just people who are good with being who they're called to be. And that's what I want for this business. And I want it to fill a stage, and so it took time to get there. It wasn't like the day I decided to start coaching and building my business, I had that vision. So how did I get there? You start with where you were before personally and where you are now, and you have gratitude. And that's what you want to give people, that opportunity. That's your mission. Your vision is where you are now in your personal journey and where you're going. And you have to have faith to talk about it. Talk about what it's going to be like when you lose the rest of your weight. Talk about what it's going to be like when you don't get stressed out with your kids every single day. Talk about what it's going to be like when you pay off that last credit card. Talk about what it's going to be like when you don't emotionally eat anymore. Don't say what it might be like. Don't say what it should be like, what it will be like. Because when you talk about things from the perspective of happening, you get very, very creative and passionate. And honestly, y'all, that's one of the things that he talks about in this book. Is he said, too many times we focus so much on why we can't do what we can't do that we never fully step into what God can do. And like finding our mission is, he was saying here, don't let your contradictions keep you from your calling. Like Sarah said this before, Stephen Furtick, that, if you want to know a saint's greatest vice, look at their greatest virtue. You want to know why I love people so hard and I hug people all the time and I love to give gifts and I love to be around people? Because I have struggled with loneliness and anxiety in my entire life. I have so many kids, you guys, like, it cracks me up. Brad's like, you have minions. Does it bother you if I call them minions? And I'm like, no, I have lots of minions. And I'm surrounded by people, and I can feel so lonely some days. I just want someone to come over and have coffee, but then I don't want to bother anybody. And so, and I want people sometimes like, you're so peaceful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if you only heard me on the way to church today, you wouldn't think that, because I feel like a contradiction. But the truth is I'm not. I'm working on it all the time. And I'm going to share what I've already learned. And when I get through this season, I'm going to teach you guys what I'm learning now. And so what qualifies you to be here, what your vision is where you are now and where you're going. And if the business side looks too scary, then start with the personal side. And if you know with the personal side, then start with the business side. What do you want the business to be? And it's not, for me, goals are really powerful, but if you don't have a vision with your goals, then they can go stale fast. You can drop rank in a blink. And that can be hard. But if you know your mission is that's like all those women and babies and bubbles, like you're going to keep inviting. When we were at Summit this past year, I came home and Summer and I had, she lives here. She's like my upline and a friend. For those of you who don't know her, she's amazing, good friend. She's been in this business a long time. And we sat at the table and I said to her, I walked away from Summit and I felt very strongly that God said to me, you play it safe, Kelly. And if you want to have the kind of impact Tracy Morrow's had on this company, You need to like own it a little more, basically, and step out of your comfort zone. Because Tracy Morrow, who's a top of heart upline, she is very strong in keeping the values and the beliefs and core mission up front. She's been on the coach advisory board. When the company has like struggled over identity issues, she always roots them in good principles. She's trained and she's like John Maxwell's like right hand. And I admire her, and I want to be able to have that kind of influence. And I want our team to have that kind of influence in this company, because we have such a great faith-filled, beautiful team. But if I'm just playing it safe all the time because I'm afraid, then I'm kind of cheating myself and cheating the company in a sense of the value of you all and the people that are joining our team. And I didn't like the feeling because it made me uncomfortable, but I knew that I could not get there if I just kept doing it on my own. So I got home and I invested in the Kayla Ibanez training, and I invested in Brad Bijak as a coach for the next 6 months. And it's not cheap. It scared me and made me vomit a little in my mouth. But my vision's worth it, and y'all are worth it, and the people coming are worth it. Because it's bigger than me, and I feel called to do it. And I shared that on social media and had somebody slam me in my comments. Someone I know, someone who's good friends with a lot of friends of mine, said, oh, you're not called. You just want to do it. And I wanted to crumble and cry, but instead I, messaged Sarah and said, I don't know what to do with this. And she's like, block him. So I did. So, blessed and release. And then I realized he's not a happy person, and I don't have to have that in my life. So some of you had shared a fear of like what people will think. Some people will think things that aren't nice because they don't get it. And so, if your identity rests on the outcome of your efforts, you're going to set yourself up for a lot of self-doubt and pain. That's something that he said in the book. It's not only on you. And, Josh Coates talks about making goals that stretch you. And I think they should be goals that stretch you to grow into the person God's calling you to. And the way to do that and make sure they're not just about you is to have a vision and a mission, because then you can run your goals through them. Does this goal align with my mission for my business? Does this goal, and then as you're going through seasons, if you're pregnant or you have a newborn, or, deployments, or husbands like changing jobs or moving cities, or kids get sick, or different things that happen, when you make decisions on how you're going to work your business and you set your goals and priorities, you run them through your vision and your mission. And then you don't have to feel guilty because you're being honest and honorable to like what you're called to do. That is what sets our team apart from a lot of teams, y'all. I've had several compliments to our team because people see it. And I'm thankful for that. I want that to be different because, when we are growing, and that's why I love this business, is that, someone had shared, there are a lot of companies out there that do different things. I mean, my family members do different things with different companies. I get it. But when someone buys like Plexus pink drink, they don't get, Megan for their coach. And they don't get to be in Rebecca's challenge group. And they don't get to be on calls where Sarah teaches. And they don't get to go on retreat where we have speakers. And it's not like you don't get it. No, they just don't get that. That's what you have that no one else has. And it's not a me, it's a we, And so when we face specific weaknesses, we have to figure out what God wants to do with them. Like, what does he want to do with them? So all this resistance I'm having right now in my life is not because I'm crumbling and a failure, although that's what the whiny 5-year-old wants to say. It's because he wants me to let it go, to grow into the person he's calling me to be in this season. And, that's why going back to that before and now and going at least once a year is so powerful. And I know a lot of people, some people did it and I'm going to go see, and some people didn't. And it's, because I don't have time and I get it. But if you want to bless your business, start there, because lack of gratitude will kill your business. It'll kill your journey and your just day. And, you want your mission to flow from gratitude, not poverty. You don't want your mission to be like, oh, I'm so scared that I can't make it, so I have to have a mission to make $100,000 in a year to save my family. That's not then you're going to feel like you're using people. But if your mission is, I want to help women feel so good about who they are that they like hug on their kids and they have so much joy. And when they fall down, they don't beat themselves up. They have strategies to get back up again. And through that, I would like to be able to support my family financially so my husband can switch jobs. Then you're not going to feel icky when you're sending an invite. But it has to come from whatever your mission is. So start there. So that's my number one for tonight. If you haven't done that yet, I want you to start with the exercise of where I was to where I am now, and then where I'm going. Second is, I want you to look at the fears that y'all shared. If you didn't share them, that's okay, but write them down and take it to prayer and ask yourself, where's the root of it? A lot of times our fears are fear of forgiveness, our fear of judgment and what other people think, or fear of rejection are usually the two main ones. There's lots of them, but they're usually imposters of the same two. If that's rooted because someone hurt you, forgive them. Do it again and again and again and again until you have to say it a million times. I've had people that I've had to learn to forgive. And that was the one thing that Tracy Morrow said at Summit, that Carl Deichler said, this business requires a lot of forgiveness. And I remember when she said that, even when I first started doing like webinars with her, and I thought, well, I don't know what she's talking about. Now I do. I mean, I've had to write letters and forgive people. They don't mean it, but I had to let it go because it was holding me back, because it was feeding my fear. You know, so get to the root of it. Is the root just because you don't have the experience to like, maybe the other root is that you need to create a new experience. So maybe your fear is failure because you failed at everything else. And so that means at this time, you need to create a pathway of success. You need to show that you can. You know, I was talking to my therapist about that with the business, and how I've always played things safe and done it really well, but I've never really given 100% for a long period of time, because then I could always say, well, you know, I did a good job and I didn't even give 100%, instead of I gave it my all and I fell short. And she said, well, then that means you're going to, for the next time, whatever amount of the months I'm working with her, going to work hard towards a goal, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it so you can create a new story in your head that you did it. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. That's good. You know? So find a scripture to help when the fears pop up, or a word for the year. Like my word is arise. And now I know more every day why God gave it to me. Last year it was made new. The year before that it was discipline. The year before that it was joy in the journey. And stick to it, you know. But if your lies are things like, I'm not qualified to lead in a challenge group, reach out to me and say, hey, can I lead a Sunday Zoom? If your lie is, no one will join me because I struggle too much, go genuinely connect with 5 people every day this week. Don't invite them, just go reach out to them. If your lie is, I wrote down something, I'm not consistent, I want you to keep a daily record of what you do well every day. Pick one thing. We have a 100-day tracker we just started. Maybe just drink water or drink your shake. Simple, don't overdo it, and celebrate the heck out of it. What if I'm in this, what if I'm the one that this won't work for? Then that's when going back to how has it worked for you? That's your truth, and no one can take that from you. And then setting a goal and saying, I'm doing this because I want to grow. And like for me, I don't want my daughters to play it safe on their dreams. And so if they get to see mom built this business to another level and pushed herself, but then was also really present with her family, and the growth they're going to see happen in me, because I know it's happening now, that's valuable to my family, because I don't want to pass on to my kids, just play it safe. So there's a value in it for me. You know, and then if you feel stuck, the other part of that with the lie is you need personal development that is going to help with your belief. You can read 1,000,000 books on sales, and it's always good to sharpen your business skills. But I would say that, you know, listening to Brad Bijak's podcast, he does use some colorful language, so you can't really listen to him with kids, FYI. Kayla's podcast, if you're worried about being icky, she's phenomenal about teaching how to authentically connect on Instagram, and everything she teaches can be used on Facebook, because I do it both places. being on our calls. We have guest speakers every month. I'm going to actually ask I have it on my to-do list to ask like favorite PD book of all time and why. The Go Giver, if you're worried about being icky with sales, Build to Last, if you have big dreams but they make you nervous, John Maxwell, anything. I love his devotional that Sarah's reading right now. It's a really great one. And I'll share some of these, but you have to feed the area of your brain literally with truth so that when the fears pop up, you have, just like you have the scripture for the struggle, you have like the tools in your toolbox. So if it's like, I'm not good with time, read Eat That Frog or Time Management by Brian Tracy. I don't even remember all the books I've read since becoming a coach, but I've read a lot and I can pull stuff out of it when I'm like being solution oriented. But the other part of it is, having that before, now, and going, and having your mission and vision in front of you and the fears pop up, just read that. That'll inoculate any BS because it's like truth right there in your experience, fear of rejection, use that fear to inspire you to truly help people. You know what I mean? If you have, fear of other companies, like we said before, how has this helped you? And what do we have as a team that others don't have to offer? And believe in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand y'all, every single one you listed, I've had, or still sometimes pop up. Like I still have them pop up, like what if you're the one that can't ever hit 5-star? What if you're the one coach who can't? No, because I'm too stubborn to quit. I'm tenacious as heck and I'm not going anywhere. So I might be 75 when I do it, but I'll do it. And I'll be the oldest coach to hit 5-star ever. And I'll be proud of it. I hope it's not that long. Because the other thing I was going to mention, number 3, is to stay surrounded. Fear will isolate you, and that's how it works. It gets you to not participate. If your challengers are not participating, most likely it's because they're afraid of something. Talk about fear in your challenge groups. Talk about how you're growing in your challenge groups. Talk about how the community is helping you. Community is what grows us, you guys. It's why it's the secret sauce in this journey. So you need to stay surrounded daily in your challenge group, being on our team call, when you can make it on the workout Zoom, being on the challenger Zoom, coming to events like Summit, Retreat, Bubbles and Walkers. Yeah, that's awesome. It's just important, like, that you stay surrounded, because the lie is going to be you don't belong, and that's not true. We had a whole summit about how you matter and you belong. And, this whole vision of mine for our team, your team's mission and vision is a piece of that puzzle. So when you're not here, something is missing. And if you haven't let yourself be known yet, then we don't even know what we're missing yet, but we know something is. Does that make sense? It's like when there's something missing from a recipe, but you don't know what yet because you haven't looked through all the ingredients. And then all of a sudden you find it and you're like, oh, I didn't have that. That's you. If you've been hiding, don't hide it. We need your value, whether you're on this team as a builder or a community builder or a hobby coach or whatever you call your label, your status as a coach, you matter. Your value is not based on your rank. Your value is not based on your income and sales. Your value is not based on your status. Your value is you. I don't ask a single person to be a part of this team that I don't want to be on this team, even if they don't want to build the business. It's because there's value in who you are. You offer a piece of that light that I want in this culture. And I know that all the coaches on here have invited coaches. It's the same for them. And so realize that, part of growth is failing. And so the last one, so we had number 1 is before, we're now going. Number 2 is, be aware of what your fears are and figure out how to address them through personal development, get to the root of them. Number 3 is staying surrounded. And then number 4 is what you focus on grows. So this is something, if you didn't listen to, because it was a while back, Brad Bijak did a call for summer that we were all invited to. And I'm sure he has a shorter podcast on it too. But the most impactful part of that call for me, which inspired me to sign up for Appreciation Academy, is he talked about seeing red versus seeing blue. And when you have a mission and a vision and you post it and you read it daily and you discern your action steps through it, you start to see more evidence of it. So if I'm reading every day that I want to help inspire hope and help women find freedom, and I want to create positivity and things, I'm going to see those things more often. But if I'm not reading that daily, and I go in my online office and 5 people return Shakeology and I have a negative paycheck and I haven't even looked at my vision, then all of a sudden that's going to knock me down. And then I'm going to see, oh, that challenger hasn't posted in like a week. Oh, that person hasn't messaged me back in like 2 weeks. Oh, and that person's completely ghosting me. And then, oh, I haven't worked out in like 2 days. And oh, I just, you're going to start collecting evidence for that down feeling. Or you can learn to be proactive and say, oh man, I'm going to go read my mission before I let myself go there. This is a big lesson that I'm learning right now. So part of me, it's hard. It's not hard. It's humbling to share this with you, because this is like what I was on the call with Brad about today. And it's that, I consider myself a positive person, but I can splatter pretty fast when things go south and make a big mess before I get up. And I'd like to reduce the mess. And the mess is usually up here. Sometimes it's in my house where people, the kids hear me yelling and frustrated. And so I had to think today in my business, how can I help focus on blue, which is good, and not all the red? And what can I do when there is red to kind of bounce faster? Because I think we're all going to have this. You're going to have a coach quit. You're going to have a coach get mad at you. You're going to have a challenger block you for no reason, y'all. You're going to have someone return 5 bags of Shakeology and you'll be like, where did you get those? And feel like, where's my paycheck? You're going to have crappy days. They happen. But that doesn't mean your mission doesn't work, and it doesn't mean your vision's not worthy. So the things that I find are helpful is, number one, to keep the wins of your business. Like in the Rise Up planner, she talks about your book of proof. You need to do it. If you have a bat every day, write your win for your business. Like we're going to celebrate every week on the call. Encourage other people. If you're feeling low, go to your challenge group and go love on all your challengers in the group. It'll make you feel better right away. Do a workout. Take some time to encourage somebody in a message. Take some time to read some personal development or listen to something. Take some time to put your phone down and go play with your kids for 10 minutes and refocus. Read your vision, read your mission. Do things that are going to help lift you up and see the good. Things that could trigger you. Don't be ashamed if you need to unfollow coaches for a season, even if they're your friends, if watching their posts cause you to compare. Follow people that help you and inspire you, not people that you fall into comparison with. And it's no offense to them. You don't have to tell them like, I don't follow you anymore because I compare myself to you. Please don't do that. Just unfollow them or mute them for 30 days until you're ready to celebrate them. And you will. Don't watch Why I Quit Beachbody videos on YouTube. Y'all, I was watching a video the other day about Emerald, and there was some of those that popped up, and I'm like, I'm just curious what this person has said. I was so mad by the end of the second one. Yeah, I watched 2. Number 1, they were completely wrong. Number 2, I wanted to call and be like, I don't know who your upline was, but that's not true. Number 3, it put me in a bad mood. You know what I'm saying? I was just feeding the wrong, you know what I mean? Like, and so if you struggle with doubts with your mission, that's going to like not help. And it really makes me mad that people do that stuff anyway, because it's just nasty. Don't skip your personal development. If you struggle with reading too much, like find a podcast or like John Maxwell has devotionals. Michelle Myers from She Works His Way has a great devotional, 2 of them actually. Get something that's 2 pages. Jesus Calling is a page. Like find something small. It does not have to be big. 100 Days to Brave, which there was a section, it was I wasn't sure. And at the end, I'm like, wow, this is getting good. I'm enjoying it. And don't isolate yourself, because if you need help seeing blue, ask. You can message somebody or ask the team, I need some prayer, or someone help me find some wins. I do it, and it's important. But you need to focus on the good. So keep a record of it. When you get a positive message from your challenger, screenshot it and save it in a folder on your phone. When you get a card from someone, I have a whole drawer of cards next to me and a whole wall of them. from 6 years, and I read through them when I'm having a low day to remember, because fear makes you focus on yourself. And when you focus on yourself, you can't live your mission and you can't focus on your vision. And in scripture, it talks about a man without a vision will perish. And honestly, when I think more about it, I think it's because your vision is what stretches you and helps you to grow, and it's not on you. I would have never visualized this, but this is so freaking amazing. I can't imagine what next year is going to be, or next month even. And so you have to take time to work through these steps. And I recommend write your, like my mission statement, kind of vision statement is over here on my wall, and share it. So your homework is to do before now and going. And if you've already done that, I want you to write down a mission of what you want to do and a vision of where you want to go. And if you're working on your own personal journey, that's great. What's your mission right now for you? Why does this matter for you and your family? And what's your vision? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be at the end of 2019? Where do you want to be in 2020? And this is not a place of judgment. This is not, like, the team is not a place of judgment. It's a safe place. And I encourage you, because I'm trying to brainstorm ways, I'm going to start asking my challengers to do the same. Because your why is what drives you, but your mission and vision are deeper rooted why, you know? So that's what I got. Anybody? Oh, so what I wanted to do tonight is actually, I asked Angela and Allison and Sarah. So I'm going to call on them one at a time to take like 2-3 minutes if possible and share, because what I've noticed with them, and I've noticed this, please, if I haven't asked, like, if these are 3 people popped to my mind, there's a lot of y'all doing things awesome, but they, like, with the last couple of weeks, I've noticed, like, Allison has really, like, stepped out in courage with her vision and mission after retreat, and then Angela coming back after she coached for a while and was not in the greatest experience, and thankfully has joined our team, and then Sarah having reached her goal in this month with Diamond Rank. I wanted each of them to share just a little bit of what helped them do that, because you heard me talk, but I think it's always good to hear from others. So, Allison, can you go first? I'll unmute you.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Kelly, this call was great. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say, can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay. I've been with Beachbody. I did not have, like Angela, I didn't have the best of coaches before. I mean, great girl. I love her. She's in my community where I live, but it was just not a very motivating, and I didn't feel fulfilled. And so when I met Kelly through Facebook, I started to become, I wanted that. I wanted that, what she was putting out there. And so fast forward, I guess, up until this point, I mean, I was really just signed up as a discount coach, and I was just wanting the discount. And I went on a retreat to Ohio, which was the bravest, boldest thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, I got on a plane to go to Kelly's house that I didn't know a soul. You know, I had never seen these people before. I met Kelly once before. And it was kind of like my last piece of soul searching. What are you going to do here? Are you going to continue as a customer and love it? And with Kelly's support, that was okay with her. You know, I knew that. Or when I went to the retreat, I was like, okay, this is how I feel now. Now I feel like selfish, because I'm getting so much of this joy and so much freedom in my skin, you know, that like I say all the time, I felt selfish not telling other people about it and not trying to spread that, you know. And a lot of fears did, you know, I had the fear of, yeah, but, you know, you have another coach in your local area that you're friends with, and what is she going to think, you know? And but if we feed all of those fears, we're always going to be stuck, and we don't even give ourselves the chance of moving forward and growing. So And so that's basically it. And I'm having a great time. I probably spend too much time. I need time management because I probably do spend too much time, watching the videos and reaching out to people. I do need to work on that, but healthy outlet and a healthy focus for me. And I feel like the money is coming in, but the best reward so far is seeing the smiles on my challengers' faces and seeing the freedom that they're experiencing and, the positive feedback. And I do have a couple of challengers that have, I don't even, I reach out to them, but they're not there anymore and they kind of walked away. But I just tell myself their mindset was not there yet. They weren't ready yet. And for me, just keep showing up and hopefully that day will come when they commit. But so it's been a very big process in growth for me, but I don't regret it at all. So
that's awesome. And I love that retreat when you talked about how you were really nervous, but you just felt like this was a gift. And if you didn't give it to people, like you were not, like you felt like you need, and that's where, when you have that moment, you're like, yes, like that's where you can, and like you said, you're going to have nervousness and stuff that happens, but then you still know, but this is a gift, you know what I mean? And that keeps you focused. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm assuming you were asking me to talk because you were muted.
Hi, yes, this is me.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
Sorry. I know how to do Zoom.
Okay, just making sure.
But you lips really well.
I'm unmuted now. Okay, sorry for the cat. Somebody gave my kid a balloon after church, and she's going crazy about it. But anyway, yeah. So like, Allison, sorry, your name on the thing messes with me, and I'm like, wait, that's Allison. I know her. She's in the group. She does videos. It messes with me. But anyway, yeah, I was under another coach. I actually signed up under a mom at our church, and then she decided not to coach. So when her upline offered me the coaching position, I jumped on thinking I was going with this other mom, and all of a sudden I wasn't. And it was a very different team. It was all about my coach's goals, all about the money. I never once had team volume or personal volume or anything like that explained to me. It was hit Success Club, beat Emerald, do this all as fast as possible, and doesn't matter who you're inviting, invite everybody. And that's one of the things that I had to really get out of my head was that it's not about the money. They
can see you though.
Sorry. Oh, not me. Sorry. It's not about, it can't be about that for me. Like if I'm going to help somebody, I need to help them because that's what they want. Like I'm not going to help the, person who's already a size 2 and doesn't need to lose weight. That's not the person I'm talking to. I'm talking to the person who was me 2 years ago, who just had another baby and a gallbladder surgery and had, postpartum depression undiagnosed with her first, and then suddenly 4 months later had another baby, and it was insane. But I'm long story short, I can't think about the money side of it. I don't need to justify the pricing. I just need to say, this is what I'm doing. This is what the price is. This is why it helps me. Do you want to come? And that's working with Kayla Banez. I'm doing her Hey Girl Academy too, has really helped me with that. And just learning all of that has really helped. And this is literally the first month I've ever, and I coached for like 8 months actively last year. This is the first month I ever covered my costs completely.
Awesome. So
and it's only 15th.
That's awesome. Well, and I love how you're saying, like, y'all, and this is what I love about it, for like we talked about, it's okay to have goals, but your mission needs to be first, and then your goals run through it. And that way, when you're serving people, you know who you're serving. And that's why I love the kaleidoscope of coaches we have, because we can serve so many different people because we're all so different. So I'm proud of you, girl. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to try not, I'm actually talking, right? Like you can actually hear me. Okay. So, all right. Sarah, can you unmute yourself?
I did. I can. So it's funny because when Kelly was talking about like words of the year, I always try to pay attention when like 3 people recommend the same book or the same theme keeps popping up. And the first time I went to Summit, every time I turned around, somebody was talking about purpose. And I kept hearing it there, and I was hearing it other places, and I kind of latched onto that idea, even though I didn't really know how it fit or what it meant or what it was going to look like or how it was going to manifest. And I still am figuring that out. But the more that I dig into it and the more that I add to my team and I work with my challengers and I get to know all of our bigger team, it turns into this concept of, you know, my goal is for people to understand that they were created on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. And so, like,
sorry, that makes me excited. It's like a tagline.
But that's one of those things that like I want everybody to understand. I just want to walk up and like shake people. Like, do you not understand that you were created on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose? All of those things, not one of those things, not part of it, like all of it. And I've heard people talk before, and I didn't really understand it before now, that like Beachbody is just kind of a vessel for a bigger mission, right? And what I want to do, and how, Anne, I shake you about 3 times a week. You're just not next to me when it happens. But I want everybody that I come in contact with to understand that. And I no longer believe that there's anybody for whom this doesn't apply. And this, I mean, that mission, but also Beachbody, there is not anyone who can't be served by this company. There is not anyone who doesn't need something that we have to offer. Frankly, something that our team has to offer. Really, truly, there isn't anybody who would not be blessed by being part of this. I truly believe that, and it shapes the way that I talk to people. And so that's kind of my mission answer, but I'm holding the microphone, so buckle up. So I wanted to dovetail with what Kelly said on point number 2, and I promise I have 3 things written down. I will say them, and then I will hand the microphone back. But it was something that I listened to today that I also was just like, everybody needs to hear this. So she was talking about like the personal development that you can listen to overcome those roots and those fears and those kinds of things. And those are all so good. I hope that you were writing that down. Here's my fear, and here's a book to deal with that. But something that I heard today kind of said that to me in a new way before, right? So we all say, okay, what are my flaws? What are my faults? What are my struggles? And we identify them, and then we look for ways to solve them, right? And that still, think about which way you're facing, right? You are still facing your faults when you're doing that. Here's my fault, and I'm going to focus harder on it. And I'm going to read more about it. And I'm going to talk more about it. And I'm going to write more about it. And I'm going to look more about it. And I'm going to read and listen to all the things. And you're still focused on that fault, right? So let's say that you have this goal. Your goal is to see the sunset. And you're going to hike up a mountain to see the sunset, right? And get your pack, and you got your water, and you got your snacks, and you got good shoes, and you got your map, and you got all your things. And you head east. Everybody caught up yet? You head east, right? And you go, and you go, and you go harder, and I haven't seen it yet, and I just have to believe, and I just have to stick with it, and I just have to trust the process, and go, and east, and east, and east, and here I go, and here I go, and here I go. And it is not ever going to happen because you're facing your problem.
Sarah just did the same. City girl's going to assume she's moving in the wrong direction.
But you have to ask yourself a different question. The point of it all is that you have to ask yourself a different question. The here's my root problem, and here's the personal development. That still works, because what you're doing there is you are like putting clean water in a cloudy glass, like not a cloudy glass, like a glass of cloudy water, rather than dumping out if you take all your time dumping it out and scrubbing your glass and trying to refill it, that just takes forever. all you have to do is fill it with clean water, right? And eventually the cloudiness will dissipate and you have something more clear at the end. So I'm not like contradicting that, but it really struck me that if you're focusing on the negative, you're still pointed in the wrong direction. And what you need to do is ask yourself a new question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love Brad Bizjack. I also am going to do some coaching with him, and it scares the out of me. But one thing that he really talks about, Kelly talked about it with the blue and the red, like you've got to ask yourself a new question. It's just science. It's the same reason why everybody all of a sudden drives a Suburban as soon as I buy a Suburban, right? I have to ask myself a new question to give my brain something to focus on. Why can't I get Challengers means all I'm focused on is my problem. And I need to shift that and start looking at it a different way. Start looking at the good side of things. And it feels really ridiculous, like personal development and positive affirmations felt at the beginning for me too. But, why is it so easy to, it feels ridiculous, but it changes your perspective, and your brain looks for that answer, and it shortens the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Because you start to see everything as a solution rather than evidence of your problem. What if this is what if I'm the one person this doesn't work for? Screw that. What if I am? What if I'm the person that this is going to work for next week? Okay. I'll officially give the microphone back. That got me really excited earlier today. And I was like, this is so relevant to what we're talking about.
Yes. No, thank you. And I love that because it was making me think, like, when you have a fear, instead of thinking, think, oh, good. What can I learn from this? Like, what am I? Yes. And when you were saying it, I'm like, I'm guessing the wrong direction too. Just confession in case anybody else was. But I love the analogy. It's so good. One more person I want to ask to share. I just put her on the spot. Oh, is she there? There she is. Sorry, Rebecca Huff. Rebecca, so this is really cool, y'all. So she's been a coach and had gone to Summit with us last year, and then had just a challenging pregnancy, but has an amazing little boy. She has lots of amazing kids. And this summit, we were there, and all of a sudden I get this text of a picture of her in her car, and she's like, I'm on my way, because she missed it, and she came up and joined us, and it was the coolest thing ever, you guys. And so I wanted her to share a little bit about like that shift, you know what I mean? Because some of us have maybe taken a time where you've taken a step back, or you took a step for good reason. Don't feel shame or anything about it. But when you have a shift, I wanted her to speak to that, because I think sometimes like the mindset shift has something to do with having that sense of purpose or mission. So I'm going to unmute you, or you got it.
Awesome. So I signed up as a coach about 3 years ago this July, and I hit it hard. I had a vision of where I wanted to go. I felt like I was rocking it. I was having a good time. We have 5 children now. One of my kids started to struggle, and I started to isolate. And then I had a surprise pregnancy that was not supposed to happen. And so my body did not do well being pregnant. Bed rest, he was early, NICU. And I isolated pretty much most of the pregnancy, most of after he was born. I backed off, I would say, of serving my customers, serving my coaches, and I did not feel worthy. I didn't feel worthy of coaching anymore. But I still plugged in. I still stayed close with Kelly. I still talked to some of the other coaches on the team. And I still followed everybody. I followed the team. I followed what everybody was doing. Sometimes I would listen to national wake-up calls. Sometimes I would listen to some of the team calls. And I never 100% left, just because I did not feel like it was the right thing to do. I still continued to work on my journey. I was still a big on-demand fan. I was still a big Beachbody fan. Loved my shake, loved my Energize. Never gave up my Energize except during the pregnancy, which I know some people don't do that either, because it's my mom crack. Sarah. So what basically happened, and kind of where the shift changed for me, was even though I was not present as much on social media, I was present in the community, and people were still seeing what I was doing, and people started asking what I was doing. And I started feeling guilty that I was not sharing what I was doing. I mean, Sarah, I wrote it down, created on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. And I will tell you, that is where my shift happened. And I felt like it was wrong that I was not sharing. I mean, you know, some people were like, are you still doing your Beachbody stuff? Are you still drinking your shake? Are you still doing, what program are you working on now? And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I just felt like I just needed somebody to kind of hit me upside the head, shake me. I needed Sarah to come and just be like, what are you doing? What are you not doing? I mean, seriously, guys, like, it was in my face almost every day. I felt like I was talking to people about it. And I don't know, like, was able to come over to Kelly's for a little bit for the retreat when she had it. And I hadn't been doing any business stuff forever, but I still stayed a little surrounded. And then, man, when I started seeing the posts from Summit, I was at New Orleans Summit, I was at Indianapolis Summit. And when I started seeing your house posts from Summit, I was like, no, I cannot not be there. And financially, we had some different financial stuff happen. It's been a rough few years for my husband with work and different things too. So that was just not in the finances. And I went to bed, maybe y'all's first or second night at Summit. And I told my husband, I was like, I'm really sick that I'm not there. I was sick, physically sick to my stomach. I just wanted to cry. And he's like, then go. I'm not sure why I didn't just get in the car then and go. So I woke up the next morning. I got my sitter lined up. We had a day planned of kids here, there, and everywhere. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'm going to figure this out. I mean, I literally was like, I don't even know how I lined it up. I think I left town before I even had it lined up for 2 of my kids to get picked up from football camp at Moeller. Like, literally, they were 20 minutes from my house at a football camp. I had no way of them getting home, and I was driving to Indy. I'm not kidding. I was already in the car on my way to Indy before I even had it figured out. And it's just, guys, when you start surrounding yourself with this, like, this team does have something different. It's just different. We're all there for each other. We're all there for the people that we serve. And it means something to us, and that's why we're here. Yeah. And those are the types of people we want to bring onto our team. Like, love hard and serve hard. And that's it.
Hey, you just got your tagline. Now we got all the taglines. Yes.
But I love it. I mean, I don't know. It feels good to be back. It feels like I'm doing the right thing. I felt like I was doing a disservice by not plugging in and by not doing this. It was just like a hole. I had a hole in my heart. So.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
It's filling up
now. Thank you. No, and I think that, y'all, that's the thing. When you do the before and now and you have that gratitude, your mission kind of spins you to come forward. And if you have to take a pause or a break, it's okay. But you can always come back to it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why if you have coaches that go through seasons, just point them back to their mission and their purpose and love them where they're at. And, you know, so I'm glad. She's my squiggle.
The biggest advice I would give others, and everyone, I had heard this before I went through it, don't isolate. Don't isolate yourself. When things get hard and the fear kicks in, don't isolate. Yeah. And I isolated because I didn't want my problems to be put on anyone else. I don't like people to feel sorry for me. So it was easier for me to isolate and not share any of my stuff with anyone.
Yeah.
And so, not the way to go.
Yeah. No, thank you. I know. I'm so glad. I'm glad you came up. That was fun. I'm excited for New Orleans. If you don't have your ticket, get one. And if you have isolated, just come back. No shame, you know. Y'all, this is awesome. I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep tonight because of just how awesome it is to be with you guys. And I tell you this, like, it you know, now I know why God had the call swap, because this was the day I needed to talk about this and we needed to share about this. So what I want you to do is do that activity if you haven't, the before, now, and going. And then I want you to write your mission statement, write your vision. If you have a desire to build a team, start thinking about your team name. You don't need to wait till you are the team. You're part of this team family, but like, start now. Like, you know, freedom came to me. Gosh, I'm pretty quickly. I mean, it's not like I waited until I was officially something. I just came up with it. Because those are the things that are going to make you excited. Like you've heard from everyone tonight, like when you want to talk to people about what you feel like you have to share it because it's that good. You know what I mean? Like it's like a good book, or like when you have an experience with your faith and you just want people to have that. Like it, to me, it's very intertwined. It hit me and I almost crashed. Oh, don't crash your car. All right, so I'm going to take a photo and then we're going to pray. And I know this call ran a little late, but I love you guys. And I'm really excited. If you did not vote, hold on. I can't do everything at once. Everybody smile. I'm looking at retreat for next year, and I don't know the month, but I kind of wanted to get a gist of what months are best. You can vote for more than one, but please go on the team page and vote so I can kind of see, and then I'm gonna have to look at the calendar and talk to Courtney, but I'm very excited about planning something, and I want to have enough distance between it and Summit's in July. And I'm just proud of you guys. Remind me if I forget. We're celebrating at the beginning of every call. So if you're on this call, you have to post a win. That's just going to be the way it is. And then I'm going to tell Brad, guess what I did? And he's going to say, woohoo, y'all. He's like, you need to listen to his podcast. When you listen to his podcast and he's like, hello, he's like that every time. Like today when he called me, I knew when he called, I was like this. Because I knew it was coming. He's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, how are you always this happy? He's like, I really am. I'm like, no, I totally believe you. How? Come spend the day with my kids. That's what we do, Sarah. We get your kids and my kids and we ship them all to his house where he doesn't have any kids.
Yeah, we'll show him what happiness is all about.
He's going to be like, I had 150 ticket wars and it was amazing and your kids are amazing. He's really amazing, y'all. So he's amazing. That's why I'm working with him. So anyway, let's pray. And y'all, so many good things. Thanks for being here tonight. Heavenly Father, I am so grateful for this team. Lord, I'm thankful for every single person here, whether they're on the call or they're listening or they're just in that place where they're not on the calls yet. Lord, just being a part of this downline, being a part of this community. What a gift. I pray, Lord, that you would stir in each of our hearts a deep desire to serve from the mission that you've called us to. Let Beachbody be the vessel, Lord, through which we bring freedom and healing into the lives of others. I ask that you would open our eyes to who it is we're called to serve this week, this month. Give us the courage, Lord, to reach out and connect with others genuinely. Inspire in us the gift of asking good questions and listening to hear and understand. Help us to connect people to the tools and products that can help them in their health, and then also surround them with this community so that they can experience true and genuine friendship and love and support in their journey. And Lord, I just give thanks for all the lives that have been changed and transformed through this opportunity and all the ones that are going to be transformed. We all have goals for this month, Lord, and we just lay them at your feet and ask that you show us how to walk and where to walk and what to do. And I just pray that we would have the courage to have that vision, to say it out loud, to share it as a team, to grow, to share it out in the world so that we can inspire hope in others. And I give you so much thanks, Lord, for all of the healing that you are doing in my life and in the lives of these men and women and in their families. It's so beautiful, God, to see what you're doing, and that you have brought us here for a time such as this. And it's humbling and beautiful and wonderful. And I'm just so thankful, Lord. And we offer all of these things in your most holy name. Amen. All right, you guys, have an amazing night. I want to see mission statements all over the place, like constant. Okay. Can I have a thumbs up? Yes. Everybody do it. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.